Go, dum, 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 dum.
Stream is live. Okay.
Oh wait, I'm gonna go to my Facebook and share it too.
Okay. All right, brothers. I'm stepping in for Shay. She finds herself in a situation that we all done been in. I'm quite sure of that. But I'm gonna start off with me, man. My name is D'Angelo Simmons. I'm the founder of 365 Never Ending Fight, located here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm SC Hemoglobin. Uh, and we're here today just to, discuss on how sickle cell affects men. So that's me.
I'm Master Burt, uh, SS genotype, from Chicago, Illinois. I'm an artist and an advocate and a father, amongst other things.
I'm Josiah Frierson. I am the senior pastor elect of Razor Sharp Ministry down here in Miami, Florida. I am a genotype SC as well, 34 years old, and that's me.
I'm Nathaniel Seabury. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I'm SS, me personally, and I'm a dad, and I'm a writer, and I'm a widower, and I'm a business owner. I guess I should say that, right?
Gotta say that.
Somewhere. That's me.
Okay. Is that everybody?
Hey, my name is Carl McCoy.
Oh, my
Hey,
fault.
how y'all fellas doing, man?
What's going
Cool,
on?
bro.
Man.
My son may jump in after a while. My son is Brandon McCoy. He's a SC. I have the trait, but I jumped in because I can learn something from you all that I may not even know. So I was invited in to come sit in and maybe I can share some things. But I'm really here to listen to you all because you all have it. I have the trait. I may ache a little bit, but you all go through something, and I see that with my son too. So I'm here to learn too, man.
Man, I'm glad you said that, bro. A lot of times people with trait try to give themselves the same experiences that we have. And how could we say what labor is like if we ain't never had a baby, right? Like,
Yeah.
so how do you know what SS is like if you ain't never had a full-on crisis, you know? And so many people with trait, man, they I don't know why they try to compare themselves, I guess just because the word sickle cell in there, but it's crazy.
The biggest problem with that is that lack of understanding, which is why a lot of people that have the trait wind up dying when they have an actual sickle cell crisis because that shit. I mean, it's different. It's not the like hurting and hurting are two different things. Same word,
Yeah.
two different things. Like
Yeah.
you can't describe like even with between patients that have actual like me and Master have SS, his pain not the same as mine. I could
Yeah.
tell him some experiences. We might share some experiences, but I could never look at him and be like, "Oh man, you ain't in pain," because his pain is different than mine. So that that's the same lack of understanding doctors have. Is that if
Hey,
I'm
hey,
not,
brother. I don't
yeah,
mean to cut you off, man. But we're gonna
I'm
try
sorry,
to we're gonna make sure we touch on all them facets, all them lanes.
my bad.
You good, you good. But what thing we gonna do? We gonna give each question that I have down 6 minutes response. That way we can flow and everybody can get, what I mean, share their
I
experience.
got you.
So, but I'm gonna jump into it, man. And I was trying to figure out the best question to jump into it. So I'm gonna start off with this. Do you feel that you are included in your treatment when you're sitting with your doctors? I will answer last. Whoever want to take the question first.
I I'll go first because mine is simple. Mine, yes, I have great doctors, so I can't, like, I've had the same doctor for like 15 years now, and we have an understanding. Like, he doesn't even really do nothing unless he asks me. You know what I mean? Like, it's more of a, we communicate whatever before anything is done. Like, so I don't have to worry about him not worrying about me because, like, he treats me like family. Like, his, you know what I mean? So for me, it's simple. Yes,
Okay, that's a blessing.
it is.
I'll go next. I would say the doctor I have now, same thing. Like my brother there, he treats me like family. Down here in Miami, we got two doctors that's like the adult sickle cell guru, Dr. Harrington and Dr. Gershon Blyden. And I go to Dr. Blyden, and he definitely includes me and his patients into the care. But before I went to him, I had some ones that did not care, make changes without me
Hmm.
knowing. The nurse come in, say the doctor did this, and I'm looking like, wait a minute, that didn't help. Last, 2 weeks, a week ago. But as of right now, I do have a doctor that do make sure that I'm good and understanding a part of my care.
Doctors, I can't really speak on, but my nurse practitioner, is probably the best nurse practitioner ever. Um, I say I can't speak on the doctors because I go where I'm respected. I don't go nowhere else. So once I found this particular nurse practitioner, and I like she works with the hematologist in the University of Chicago. So that's really the only place I go. I don't even see my primary care doctor. Like literally, like I don't really know my primary care doctor. I had a friend pass away in 2020. I took his doctor because he was real close to her, but I've probably seen her twice since she's been my doctor because I'm always going out to the University of Chicago to talk to my nurse practitioner who gets everything done that I need to get done. So I'm gonna go where I'm respected. You know, I don't know what the doctor gonna do. I know exactly what the nurse practitioner gonna do.
Facts.
And me sitting in with my son when he goes to the doctor. Now I understand with the brother, he's on my left at the top. When the doctors changed up, but now my son have good doctors now because they come in. I'm like, hold up, bro. What are you doing? What you trying now? No, we ain't talked about this, you know. But now he have a good set of doctors now, and now he feel comfortable sometimes. Like if I just go drop him off and everything. But most of the time, I like to sit in because I have the trait, like I said earlier, but I want to know because I don't feel the pain he may feel, but I see it when he goes through that. And even like when we go to the hospital sometime, I'm in there about ready to fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being straight up. I'm ready to fight. And one night he called me. One night he was at the hospital like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he put me on the phone. He put speakerphone on, and I heard this doctor talking. And before I knew it, I said, "Bro, just wait till I get there. Don't go nowhere. Wait till I get there." And but the whole tone changed when I got there with that doctor. I said, "You don't have no clue what he's dealing with. I don't have the clue like that what he's dealing with, but I know he's in pain." So, but now all that has changed. Now we got some representatives there to fight. They'll go fight for him if he have to.
Man, I just want to say thank you for being for man. You don't know how much that kind of support helps, bro. I thank you.
I'm gonna tell you now. Just remember, the reason I brought that question, man, because I know we all do here in Cincinnati. For me, sometimes I don't feel that I am included in the treatment. I have had situations where I was forced to get out of pocket a few times because they would take your life in their hands and move it how they choose to be, how they see fit. And I had doctors take a script from me, a whole script, like no winging down. We all know that if you cannot stop a narcotic abruptly, I mean, it's gonna be side effects to the sudden stop, right? So here in Cincinnati, the issue we have here is we can't keep a doctor, we can't keep a hematologist, right? It's always a new doctor coming in, and then you gotta do the song and dance all over again, and they all come in acting like they are including you in your treatment. And I'm not saying all doctors here in Cincinnati like that, but then you got the ones who got an S on their chest who want to play God. And because you can't see sickle cell and you can't see the pain, they feel like whatever they read in the book is law. But that's just one thing I know I have dealt with. It's times where, like I said, I don't feel like I'm included. I make sure I am included. I force myself because it's my body. I'm the one got to deal with the side effects of your decisions. So I make sure I'm included. But for the ones who don't know how to advocate, or the one who doesn't have a father, like what you were speaking about, brother, where you show up for your son, which is beautiful. If you don't know how to do that, man, they will mistreat you, man, and take advantage, of the lack of voice that you using. So let's move right along, man. I'm gonna bounce around with some of these questions, man. But I just came up with them not too long as I thought about it. How does sickle cell affect your relationship with your spouse and your kids?
I could, for me, like, I was married. I was with my wife for 22 years, and she was probably the greatest support system ever in the world. Like, she was very, like, I hear horror stories that people talk about their spouses not supporting them with their sickle cell, or thinking that they faking, or all this stupid stuff. And I never had that experience. And now, when it comes to my kids, it hurts. It hurts to see your kids see you go through stuff, and they not truly understand. Like, you could explain it to them as much as you want, they don't understand. You know what I mean? And they go through life just thinking you're gonna die one day. And that's not a good feeling for me at all. Like, I don't like it. Like, when my wife died, my daughter freaked out because all she could think is, well, my mom's gone, and what if something happened to you? You know? And that's heavy, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I got.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll speak next. I'm not married, but I was at one time. And I've also had relationships. I don't have any kids, so I can't speak as our brother just spoke pertaining to kids. But I actually, like our brother, had a very supportive wife when it came down to my condition. Didn't matter if I wasn't feeling good, man. She had an S on her chest when it came down to that. She came in and she made sure I was good and I had whatever I need, make sure I ate. But I will say now, if I go back to relationships, I ain't always have that. I've had people that, flat out, what's your problem? Why you can't do this? Or why you can't get up? And I'm looking like, and I'm gonna blow y'all mind, fellas. One of them was actually a sickle cell patient.
Damn.
Man, I go out to the hospital, check on her, see how she doing. I ain't get that in return, man. It was just like, well, I got to go out there. And she was going more than me. So, I've had both sides of the fields. But when it came down to my ex-wife, she was amazing. I will say she was amazing when it came down to my health. If I wasn't feeling good, she was, I'm finna take you. I'm taking you to the doctor. You ain't driving. So I will say that she was very good when it came down to it.
Was she a super advocate? Like, My wife would get up there and cuss people, man.
She ain't cuss nobody, but she was a nurse, so I will say that she would get up and ask questions, and well, why are y'all doing this, and what is this, So, but she didn't. One thing she know about me, I'm gonna speak up and say what I got to say. So, she knew I deal with them, and get them right if need be.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I always so I ain't never been me, right? So uh as far as my like somebody advocating for me or any of that type of stuff, um I normally even go to the hospital by myself, because you know I'm just aware of how people kind of view me, like especially like in my family or whatever. So I try not to let them see me at my weakest point. So I kind of be in the hospital by myself majority of the time. Uh, yeah. As far as relationship wise, though, the way that things go, it's been some situations have been decent, some been bad. Uh, I don't always tell people my situation until a crisis actually happens, because I'm able to live like I haven't been in the hospital for 5 years prior to this year. It's been my first time in the hospital in a while. So, um, if just think, some people relationships don't last 5 years, so they didn't have to know that I had sickle cell. You know what I mean? And I don't tell everybody everything as soon as I start dating. I don't tell them sometimes, like I said, if I don't have a crisis, you'd never know for real. Some people say that's selfish. Some people say it's not. Oh well, whatever. uh, I've had one situation though where in a relationship where a person thought that it was like, oh, you need to go do this, and I'm like, look, I don't really do that, right? But I do so many other things. But like, I don't cut the grass, but I'm willing to change your brakes. I just don't like being out in the heat, because that's really what my trigger is, more so heat in the winter. I'm a shovel all winter, but and when it's summertime outside, I'm not going. I'm not doing no yard work. Period. Right? I'm gonna pay these people to do it, and it was like, well, I want you to do it, and it's like, I told you I don't do this. You know what I'm saying? But it's a reason behind that, like, and so I've had a situation like that where people think that you lazy based off of something that you don't want to do. It's not laziness, because if I was lazy, I wouldn't be out there all winter. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if I was lazy, I wouldn't be out there every time your car break down or your brakes need to be changed. I wouldn't be out there when you needed a tune up. I wouldn't be out there doing those things. I wouldn't be out there when the house needed to get painted. Like, and then it's like people sometimes don't understand uh that part. You know, I think some of these females, they don't get that part, is that you're still a man, even though you might not be able to do one or two things. What about the 30 that you did do?
Right.
So that's one uh, situation that I had that was kind of wild.
Well, I speak from both sides. Like me, and in a relationship, sometimes I wouldn't let them know that my son have sickle cell. I just see where the relationship is going first, and then once I see that whichever way it's going, then I introduce that to them, and I automatically, first thing I would say, if my son go to the hospital, I say, I don't care what time it is, I'm out. You know,
Mm.
you gonna have to understand that. That's something you gotta understand. Most women say, I can understand until it actually happens.
Yep.
Indeed.
I said,
Facts.
wait till it happen. I said, I'm not praying that he'll have a crisis, but wait till it happen, that it do. And when it happened, she didn't know what to do. She panicked and like, I can't deal with this. I said, I warned you from the beginning. And on the other side, with my son, watching him in relationships and stuff, sometimes he would let them know from the beginning, sometimes he wouldn't. And one girl that he was really interested in, and they dated for about a couple of years. And he finally told her probably 6 months within the dating scene. And she was like, okay, I can understand. And I was sitting there and I was talking to her. I said, you say that now, but wait till it happened. And so when it happened, she called me, and, you know, I was asleep. She called me and said, you know, Brandon's in the hospital. He's going to the hospital right now. And when I got to the hospital, she all up in the bed with him and everything. I said, you got to get your butt up out that bed because he ain't feeling you like that. Not right now anyway, because he's hurting. And she was like, I wish it was something I can do. And man, fellas, when I tell you, it wasn't even 2 months later, she was gone. She was gone. And I said, see, y'all don't understand that because he's explaining to you what he's going through. But y'all think, like the brother said, y'all just think it could just, you faking or you ain't doing this. But really, you don't understand. But the lady he's with now, she seemed to understand it pretty good because he involves her in some of these conversations like now that he may stream live to his page or she's with him on there with that. So she's getting and learning more and more about the information about this herself.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, fellas, I'm from North Carolina. I meant to say that earlier.
Okay, North Carolina. That's what's up. Now, for me, the reason I brought that up, man, I'm 44, right? I've been married. And one thing I've learned with women and dealing with this sickle cell, and I'm also a father as well. In my experience dealing with sickle cell and relationships, in the beginning, a woman would tell you anything to get into a relationship, right? They really feeling you. And then when you open up that side of your hurdles, the sickle cell that throws in your way, they will tell you, oh, it's cool, it's all good, right? And in my experience, fast forward through, my ex, she was supportive early on, right? But then I saw it was times where I was in a hospital where it became frustrating to her having to come see me, right? You know, now that's a mental note. You walk into a hospital, I'm already going through this, and then you have an attitude, what you're here for. I don't need to see that. But it's a mental note. I put that in the back burner, right? But as you were saying, Master, sickle cell patients, we get the stigma of being lazy. Right? We get the stigma of being lazy. That what happened with me over time. You know what I mean? It was like, you know, she would get up to go to work. I'm still in the bed, right? She would get up and go to work. I'm still in the bed. And when you got women that work around, that's depending on what kind of job she has, they work around powerful men. Hey, can somebody mute that for me, brother? Who that?
Kick them.
Hey, can Shay mute them? But anyway, man. But what I was saying, hey, if y'all have back conversations, man, can y'all do me a favor and hit the mute button before y'all step? If y'all have some back conversation going on. But what I was saying was, when you're in a relationship, women can't do nothing but compare men, right? It might be a friend of hers. So what happens is you are getting compared to someone who doesn't have sickle cell, right? You are getting compared. Okay, this man doing this, but why you can't do this? See what I'm saying? Even though your path is different, you still a man. Sickle cell, you can't. The issue with it is you can't see sickle cell, right? Right. I mean, you can't see the pain. You got to take our word for it. So half of the time is you are being judged, and once that relationship become old, or all the newness then wear off, now they stuck with you always in the hospital. I done had a person. It was a female when I was 19 years old, right? And her father was a preacher. And one day I got out the hospital. I went to her to the church with her to go see her people, right? And he tells me, man, you might as well get a hotel up there. You always in the hospital. And this is a preacher telling me this, right? And I told her, I said, I'm gonna tell you something. If you say something to me like that again, I'm gonna cuss him out on the pew. I don't care where he at. because it was like he's judging me, and they didn't want her with me because they didn't see a life with me, with her daughter, with their daughter. You see what I'm saying? Because the hurdle that was thrown in my way. And sometimes I was hospitalized, and my path was a little different. You see what I'm saying? So one thing about sickle cell patients, we are being judged in any relationship you get in. A woman will tell you, oh, baby, I love you. I'm there for you until it's time, right? Until it's time, because now we're dealing with the narcotics, how that affects your mental. We're dealing with how sickle cell affects your mental. It's a lifestyle, and it's a lifestyle that's not built for a lot of women. You see what I'm saying? It's a lifestyle that's not built for a lot of women. And what you were saying, Master, I don't tell every woman that I deal with about sickle cell. I only tell the ones that I pull close, that I'm locked in with, in a relationship with. But this is why, as a sickle cell patient, it's mandatory for us to, deal with our mental, find a support group, because if we open up to our female about everything, it could backfire. You know what I mean? Because they might not see a life. But this is why we gotta have the confidence and the ability to, to still, strive and grind it out. Because I have been judged. You will be judged. You will be. If your girl getting up going to work every day, and you in that bed, and she come home from work, and you might still be in that bed, you being judged. You being judged. You know what I mean? And even for my son, right? It's times where I couldn't show up. I couldn't show up for my son. I couldn't show up for my ex at the time. And I was, and you being judged for that. They ain't trying to hear your back hurt, your leg hurt. You ain't feeling good. You trying to sleep off the Oxycontin. You trying to sleep off the Percocet. You trying to sleep off all these narcotics that got you sluggish. You know what I mean? While you still trying to be a great father, while you still trying to be a great support system, for your spouse or whatever, but it's just the hurdles that come with sickle cell anemia, man. But another thing, just to stay on relationship wise, how does sickle cell affect the sexual connection with your significant other? Do it affect it at all?
Could I get a second real quick though? Speak on what you was talking about, the judgment part, bro.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I was once judged, and I think this is important because, like we spoke about being judged to people without sickle cell. I was once judged to a person with sickle cell, and I'm cool with that guy too. We kind of know some of the same people, and so she was saying the same person about the lawn stuff. She was like, well, this dude, he be lifting weights, and I'm like, oh, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's up. Like, yeah, that nigga kind of swole. He do be lifting weights. And then it turned into, yeah, but he do this and he do this, and I'm like, what you don't understand about him though is that he can't even get in the swimming pool. He'll go into crisis if he get in that cold water. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He can't go out there and, like I said, shovel that snow or do nothing like that. Because as swole as he is, if he go out there, that's the thing that he can't tolerate. So I had to get this particular person to understand that even though we got the same thing, we do it differently. The sickling part is different. You know what I'm saying? Like his case ain't my case. Right. And my case ain't his. It's things that he can do that I can't do. And it's things because I'm in the group chat with him, it's things that I know that he can't do that I can do. Like I said, that brother take a cold shower. He gonna tell you off top, man, I can't even take a cold shower without getting out of going into a crisis. Like, so I'm like, you gotta understand that part too. Just one thing that affects him don't affect me, and some things that affect me don't affect him. But it was like you judging me, you know what I'm saying? And we all sickle did, like, it's different. And he had SC too, But even with SC, I've seen some people go through hell with that. You know what I'm saying? It's just different. It's just, some people might say my case of SS is not bad. You know what I'm saying? And I agree. I agree. I've seen a lot of people worse. And
Mhm.
so it's just all different. You know what I mean? It's all different. And just because you know somebody with sickle cell as a female don't mean that you still understand. It still don't mean that you understand, because his case ain't my case. So
You know, I'm gonna piggyback what you just said, Master Man. I'm gonna tell you the situation I had. Um, I went to Arizona to visit my son, and I took my girl with me, right? And the whole time, my son, he said, "Daddy, when you get down here, I want you to go jogging through the mountains with me." So I'm walking up and down, North Bend, which is a flat terrain here, trying to prepare myself to go do this with my son, right? So fastball, I'm in Arizona now. Boom, I'm in Arizona. We starting this journey up this mountain. Now I'm talking about a rough terrain, no pavement, rocks falling down, and I'm trying to do this with my son, right? So I'm walking up this mountain, me, him, and my girl, right? And I get not even halfway. I'm burnt out, the sun beaming. So now in front of me, I hear my son and my girl talking. Oh, it's man over matter. It's man over. You can do it. It's man over. Yeah, I work it out. Yeah, I do all this. And once again, you can't see sickle cell. You don't know what's going through my body right now, trying to do this for my son, right? So I ended up getting to a point and I had to sit down. At this point, I'm gassed. I got the inhaler out, puffing. I'm sitting. Man, they sitting there. Come on, you can do it. It's just we almost there. You can do it. It's man over matter. It's man over matter. So I told my son, I said, look, I'm gonna tell you something. A couple of things gonna happen. Either I'm gonna get flown out, carry out, if I keep going. I say, well, since I'm able to walk out, I'm walking back down. Right. And as I walk back down, they were still, and not saying they was saying nothing to try to make me feel bad. They was trying to encourage me. But in the process of trying to encourage me, they was making me feel bad. Right. Because I already feel like I let my son down in that moment because it's all he talked about. Right. So, but I say that to say this is why it's important to keep to know our limitations, right? And be okay with our progress. You know what I mean? Be okay with the pace that we take. Because if we look on somebody else's paper and judge ourselves about what they're capable of doing, that's just another thing that's gonna, make our mental act up. Another thing that's gonna bring us down. Another thing that can make us insecure, right? Because and that's what I had to tell them once I recovered and I got back to the bottom of the mountain. And I told them, I say, yeah, I don't understand. I got two metal hips and I had a heart attack, a stroke, and a metal shoulder. You don't see what I'm feeling, but I know you're trying to encourage me. But I said it to say, man, this is why it's important to know our strengths, to know our weaknesses, and be okay with saying no, and be okay with pulling back if you need to, because we don't want to kill ourselves trying to please people who don't know this battle. You see what I'm saying? But if anybody else want to touch on that, if not, I mean, I want to, start talking about, touch on the sex and how sickle cell affects your sexual performance, with your significant other, or does it affect it at all? I guess that's a no.
I go with my son, because me and my son we got a tight relationship.
Okay.
So as of right now, he said that is normal with him as far as having sex and stuff. And he haven't said anything about it that he's having problems. So I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed and keep praying that he have a normal sexual life.
Mm-hmm.
Most
Well,
parents would be like, you shouldn't be doing this right here. Look, let me tell you something. I tell them parents all the time, look, you did it. Why they can't do it?
how old is he?
He's 25. He's 25 now.
Okay.
He
Well,
just
he's
turned
lucky.
25 this year.
He lucky at this point. He ain't had it yet, but
Yeah.
eventually he will experience priapism. Now,
There.
uh, priapism for some people is hell, and for some people is not that bad. uh, Priapism is a prolonged erection,
Hmm.
uh, and it can have like if you read, you'll see that you're not supposed to be hard longer than 4 hours. Uh Now priapism gonna have you hard from 10, 11 o'clock at night to 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning. And it ain't
Mm-hmm.
gonna be able to go down. No matter how much you nothing, it's just gonna stay, it's just gonna be there.
And it's different
Now
for everybody
after
too.
after a while, it becomes painful though, you
'Cause
know. Now, the thing is, some people, it might become painful, and the pain it might not be that bad because you already used to dealing with pain. So you just gonna keep going, and you gonna be a stallion to that woman. Then there's some people who it's too painful for them to keep going, and those be the people who sometimes they have to go to the hospital for it. And when they go to the hospital for it, I've heard tell, I haven't had it myself, but I've heard tell of people having to get it drained. They had to drain the blood from the penis with a needle.
I know I
Uh,
have.
that's what
Uh,
I've heard of. I never been through it. So if somebody on here been through it, you can speak to that part.
it's it's for me. Priapism hurts like hell, and the last thing I'm thinking about is sex when that's happening. And you do have to go to the hospital. I've never had to have it drained before. Like, well, once when I was young. The first time it happened, they did that, but I don't quite remember that because I was like 12 and I was delirious because I got people laughing, like my mama boyfriend sitting there talking about, "Oh boy, you can fuck all night now." Excuse my language, and I'm like, "Bro,
Bro, you gotta stop cursing on here, bro. You can't. We ain't supposed
yeah,
to.
my bad, sorry." You can go all night, and I'm like, "Bro, I can't feel my stomach right now." Like, it hurt that bad. So he like it's a very painful thing for some people, and until I met Master, I didn't know that wasn't a problem for everybody. I thought that everybody that had it the same way I had it. So that was something different.
Yeah, when I first experienced it, I was around 18. Uh I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all, fellas. Yeah, I wouldn't. It was in the morning time, and look, I come. My grandfather raised me, and my grandfather is Reverend Hillard Burt. You see what I'm saying? So I can't go up in there. And then you got to keep in mind too, my grandfather. Again, he raised me. He at the time. So he's 60 years older than me. So, I can't go up in there talking to him about, man, my thing won't go down. You know what I'm saying? I can't go up in there telling him that. But to be honest with you, I didn't know that it was that. I just knew it wouldn't go down. You know what I mean? Because once it started giving me some pain, I went into the bathroom and grabbed the lotion. You see what I'm saying? And it still didn't go down after that. So I'm like, oh, like, well, I don't know. So now I'm in the room just balled up, bro. Like, cause I don't know, I don't even know that this is sickle cell at this point. I didn't know that was sickle cell until I was like in my 30s, like for real. I didn't know that was sickle cell until then. Like I thought that I was just dope. Like I thought, because it wasn't no crazy pain, you know what I'm saying? But I was able to go for a long time. But it did get irritating when it wouldn't leave, and you like the chick over there and she can't go no more, and you like, well, you still got to get this down, and everybody can't handle that. You know what I mean? So, um, but I didn't know that it was sickle cell until like I said, like I was in my early 30s, man. I didn't know. Like I thought it was just something that I was just dope in it because
Like you
it
had
come with a little
superpowers,
bit
right?
of pain. You know what I'm saying? It had a little bit of pain. It wasn't no crazy pain behind it. So,
Thought you was Superman, huh?
I'm gonna
bro,
tell you,
I'm telling you.
like when I first experienced priapism, early 20s, man, and I used to take advantage of it. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah.
I was taking advantage of it until the pain just got ridiculous. And I was early to, but when I first went into the hospital, to the emergency room before it was kind of embarrassing because the emergency room was packed. You know what I mean? And I'm up there whispering like, you know, you know what I mean? My dick won't go down. I need some help. Like it hurt. Like, you know what I mean? But you know, but when I went to the back and they pulled that needle out, to see that needle, it kind of helped go down. Like,
Yeah, every time I
you
got
know,
scared of something, bro, it went down.
Same here.
yeah,
Same
yeah.
Every
here.
time I got
But
scared of something, it went down, bro.
nah,
Same here.
but see, but what took my cake was what took the cake for me. What the aftercare, I went to the doctor. They was like, well, this is what you have to do at home. And he wanted me to show him that I could stick myself. And I told him, man, I can't do it. It's impossible. Like, it's impossible. Ain't no way. Now,
He
maybe
said,
if I
God
was in
better
full
do it
blown
every day.
pain, if I was in full blown pain, maybe. But it was just impossible. I just thank God at the age of 44, I haven't experienced it since then. I don't know what brought it on back in my 20s, my early 20s. But thank God at 44, man, you know, but one thing I will say, if any young brother out there having priapism, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. This is why we had these conversations, man, because like you said, Master, you didn't know that was sickle cell until you was in your 30s. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I found out young because the doctor just happened to tell me, you know, I just knew something was wrong, you know. But you know, just a segue, since we still talking on the sexual aspect of
Hey,
sickle
could
cell.
I say one thing about
Go ahead,
priapism
bro. My
real
bad.
quick?
Go ahead. Yeah,
This
yeah.
this one thing I've learned that help. It doesn't help all the time,
Uh-huh.
but when it happens, just tuck it up into your waistline and walk around, and sometimes it'll let that blood drain down, and
Mm,
it'll stop. It don't happen. It don't help all the time,
right.
but it does help sometimes.
That's a good remedy. I mean, I'm gonna tell you what I figured out that helped me back then. If I was to massage between the shaft and the ball,
Yep.
That
Yeah,
too. That does
that's what
work.
I do.
That
yeah,
works.
massage right there. That's what helped me plenty of times back then.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what helped me too, bro. The massaging right there by the shaft, bro. Like where we stop where it started. Like
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it helped. That helps me. That helps me right there.
Yeah, that does help too.
Massage.
Yeah, I just taught me a lot of stuff. I've only dealt with it once. I was probably about 19 or 20. I don't think I've ever even told anybody. And it was a similar to what y'all said. Me having a medical background, I knew. I said, okay, this priapism, and I know, like our brother Master said, if you have it too long, that can be your long heart, your last heart. If you're on hard for too long. So I went to the hospital, but like D'Angelo said, looking at that needle, I got scared, man, and it wasn't too much longer, man. I went on down, so I was straight, man. I was like, okay, I'm good. But I will want to say that it's a medication I take called Even Flow.
Okay.
Just talking about priapism and just sickle cell in general. And what it does is it opens up the blood vessels. So I'm just thinking that this might be something else that probably could help with priapism as well, because it does open up the blood vessels, which will allow that stuck sickle cell to possibly push on through.
Okay. Just to piggyback off that drug you said, right? Now they had a drug back in the day that I can't even pronounce the word, but it started with a P. But have you ever heard of L-arginine?
Yeah.
Which is a natural vitamin. Let's just say vitamin, right?
Mm-hmm.
It helps expands the blood vessels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and that's for anybody out there who had that problem. You could try that. That does the same thing as the drug you just mentioned, brother. But one thing I want to say, like I said, man, since we stand on this topic for right now, for the sex, how does the narcotics affect your sex drive, or do it?
Can I'll go to. Hold on, my daughter just walking around. Now I want to be talking.
Okay. Well, you know what?
I love you. Yeah. So she
Okay.
so when I take my medicine, like it shuts me down, man.
Which man
Like
that?
like I still take hydrocodone because I have a lot of issues with drug abuse in my family, so I refuse to move up to anything stronger because I'm
Okay.
scared to become an addict. But still, it doesn't like it doesn't. I can't do nothing. Like it barely works, and I hear people talk about when they take their medicine, man, they all night flights and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell wrong with my body. My body's just different.
Yeah, that's how you horny in the bed, man. Man, sometimes, bro. Sometimes, like, so. Here's the thing. I think that part of why I didn't have it really that bad because I did still know that I had sickle cell, and some of my worst crisis has come from being sexually active.
Mm-hmm.
After
That is
after
facts.
that sex, man, listen, sex has sent me to the hospital probably more than strenuous work.
Yeah.
Uh,
My wife used to get so mad at me, like, why you ain't tell me you wasn't feeling good? Like, girl, look, if I
yeah.
gotta go to the hospital because I had sex, I'm going to the hospital every time.
But so here's what I used to do. I used to like pre-game. You see what I'm saying? I would take my pain medication before I would start having sex. I would take it about 30 minutes, 20 minutes or something prior. And then I would do, so that's probably why I wasn't feeling as bad as I probably, could have. That's probably one reason. Again, I didn't know that it was that. Um, but yeah, and then that's another thing. I used to think that the medication was doing that too. Like I said, I thought it's either this medicine or I'm just wrong. Like and and
I'm
and and,
him. I'm
and
him.
like and look, like I said, you got that little pain, but we dealt with pain before. But in my head, I used to be like, look, there's some guys that's out there that's bigger than me. There's some guys that's smaller than me. But man, I can tell you one thing. I
They
bet
can't.
she ain't never had dude go for this 8 hours. She ain't never had that. And
Hey,
she ain't
on
gonna
the
be able to talk
accident.
about nothing. She gonna be able to talk about this though. So,
Broke
but
my
that,
eyes on the accident, boy.
but the
You don't even need
medicine
to go
though,
that long. You gotta apologize to him. My bad, baby. I know you gotta get up and work tomorrow.
man, dog,
I
I'm
didn't know
talking
that was
about.
gonna happen, man. That's crazy.
But the medicine though, bro, yeah, it do that shit. There's some of those pills they make you horny than a mother. Yeah, they do. I ain't gonna say, you know,
Uh,
uh, I know Norco do.
Master, I think your body a little different, brother. Scientifically, it's supposed to decrease it, not increase it. So I think that's just you.
Bro, yeah, that man. Listen, no, it ain't just me because I
It's
know
not just
some.
him. I've heard it from a lot of people.
No,
That's him.
man, listen, females in the hospital, man.
Hey,
Listen, you ever dealt with a chick with? You ever went to go see a chick with sickle cell in the hospital?
hey, I'm gonna tell you something though. A lot of them nurses and the secretaries and the nurse practitioners, they be looking for them priapisms. They be looking for them
Bro,
side effects.
Man, I had a nurse. Never mind. I'm not gonna tell that story on here.
you have a patient, bro. A patient,
I
bro. I'm telling you, a patient. I done seen, boy, a patient, man. That nurse come, they do their thing, give them their medication. You'll have more calling you, like, man, you coming to visit? Gotcha. Yeah, she gonna lay it down right there in the hospital. Y'all gonna slide
could
to
I
the
could
bathroom.
I could I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Like, does sickle cell enhance your sex drive? 'Cause everybody I know with sickle cell nasty as hell.
I don't think it's. I mean, I'm gonna answer that, and I'm gonna follow with the answer with the pills. I'm gonna speak for me. Better yet, let me do that. I don't think it's sickle cell has nothing to do for me to enhance my sex drive. But I know the regimen that I'm on, the Percocet, that does. That, just a piggyback. I remember back when I was 20, right? When I first got on them pills, I was like 21 years old. And I didn't know nothing about the side effects of none of these narcotics. So the first side effect I experienced was an Oxycontin 40 milligram. And I remember having sex, and all of a sudden, went down. I'm like, what the hell going on? I was frustrated. I'm like, what's going on? And that was me experiencing the Oxycontin 40 milligram in my early 20s. But as I got older and I started experiencing the oxycodones, that's when I found out that was a side effect from that narcotic. It's almost like a Viagra, right? So
maybe I need to move up.
But I'm gonna tell you something. Hey, don't let that be the reason, brother. But I'm gonna tell you something though, and I'm gonna keep it a buck, because since we still talking about sex and relationships, a lot of women love you for that, right? They might not like the character that you are, but what you could provide in that time of need is something that kind of intrigues them, right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you the downside. Now, I was back in maybe about almost 2 years ago now, I was on Oxycontin 80s. And I was taking Oxycontin 80s and oxycodone 30 milligrams. My regimen was ridiculous. And I found myself going through a depression, right? I went through a depression, and I found myself watching regular TV and crying, watching Golden Girls. I thought I was losing my testosterone. I'm like, what's going on with me? Like, so I went to the doctor just to check my testosterone, and she was like, "Nah, D'Angelo, the Oxycontin to put your body to sleep." She said, you depressed. She said, that's why your sex drive is sporadic. When I was married, I went at least a month without no sex. And we know that that's not going to stand in no marriage, in no relationship, right? It was times where I had to put her needs over mine. I would lay in pain because I know I have to satisfy my wife at the time, right? You know what I mean? And it's almost like you get no credit for how you used to have sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get no credit for that. It's what have you done for me lately type situation. Right? So, but once I got off the Oxycontin, I just thank God that the whole thing hit with Purdue. The whole scandal. I know y'all probably watched on Netflix, Pain, the little thing they got on Netflix about the Oxycontin era. But once that hit and they took it, the insurance company took the Oxycontin. I went through withdrawal. It was a blessing in disguise. Of course, at the time, I didn't like it because I was in a lot of pain. I went through withdrawal. We all experienced withdrawal before. I'm quite sure of that. You know what I mean? But what happens was my body woke up. I went from not performing for 30 days to perform every day. You know what I mean? But my relationship took a hit because the side effects of the narcotics that they provided me, which is the Oxycontin. The Oxycontin put my body to sleep. That's the downside of these narcotics, man. Because if you take too much of that, it will send you through a depression, and it will shut your body down. You know what I mean? That's the downside of the Oxycontin. Now the oxycodone, I could work on the oxycodone. You know what I mean? I can work on that. That's what I take now. I don't take all that. I don't take all my Oxycontins like I used to no more, thank God. But yeah, man, that was the side effects, man. And but it all still affects your mental. It all still affects your behavior, your mood swings. Yeah, I mean, opiates, man. Them opiates is nothing but manufactured heroin.
Yep.
To keep it a buck, that's exactly what it is. But yeah, man, anybody want to touch on that some more if y'all want?
I'm gonna say that like, so for me, the sleepy thing is the hydromorphone and Dilaudid. So that's why at one point I actually told them, I'm gonna be real with you. I found myself like needing it more than I thought that I needed it in my head though. You know, like because you could sit there and you're like, man, do my leg hurt? Yeah, let me go up here. And it's really just the medicine leaving out of you. But you starting to feel something else. And it's like, and once you like the mind is a strong thing, you know what I'm saying? And I found myself sleeping way too much. And at this time, I have custody of my daughter. You know what I'm saying? So I can't function like this. I got her, her little brother who I take care of. Like I got these kids. I'm painting all night. I'm barely sleeping, but then at the same time, I'm kind of sleeping sometimes too much, but through the day. You know what I'm saying? Because I have my kids that I'm still gotta take care of. So I had to tell them like, yo, like just give me 10 of these. I just only need 10 of these for when it's real, real, real pain. Like, and and if you don't watch this stuff, like Nathan said, especially if you have a addictive background, which my father and my mother was on drugs. So if you have that type of background, you do have to be careful with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful with this stuff because they already look at us a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And no matter what it do for you, you still gotta tell yourself like you better than this medicine.
To,
At the
to,
end of
to,
the
I
day, you
wanna
better than this medicine, man. Like, and a lot of the stuff that we do, it is mental. A lot of this stuff, man, is mental. You
let
know.
me I wanna like piggyback off what you were saying. Like the the thing that gets me and like the reason why I won't move up in drugs, even though my doctors told me I need to, and it's because it scares me not knowing if I'm in pain or if I'm an addict, right? Because like you said, the medicine gets in your head, so I find myself questioning myself, like, do I need to be taking this, or is it my body's addicted to this drug, so it's telling me I'm hurting? You know what I mean? Like, and it's a fine line to walk because you don't want to say like this is a safe space. I can't say this out loud because people already think that sickle cell patients are addicts. Like
Yeah.
I can't say this to the average person. You know, I can say this to y'all
Well, look, I
because
said what made me say that too is when D'Angelo said what made me say the things I just said is because D'Angelo was saying how like these women when they figure out that this medicine it can help you in that area,
yeah,
they'll use you for it. And they'll be like, yo, if you don't want to keep going, okay, well just go and take one of those and then and then get me together. And it's like, no, like that's not what that's for. That's
yeah,
not what that's for. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you would have me taking this stuff all day if that's what you want all day. Just because
yeah,
you went out to the club and got a little tipsy and now you coming back in and you want to crash something all night. Like, no, 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 no. I'm not finna be on that with you though. We gonna do whatever I'm gonna do naturally, and then if it's done naturally, then it's done at that point. Cause you get some chicks, man, they'll be like, hey, you said you hurting. Let me go get you one of these. And it's like, yeah, but it's only a level 3. I don't need that right now. It's only a level 3. I don't need you to go and get the narco right now. Understand? I don't need that right now. So yeah, man, like
I feel that's what I say, man. It's a fine line, man. We're gonna segue, man. I got a follow question, man. The next question: Do you think or do you know that you are being sized up when you walk
look,
into these doctor's office and these pharmacy, the pharmaceutical places? And what I mean by what I mean by sized up, that you are being profiled.
oh hell,
yep,
yeah,
definitely. Like
for sure.
especially if it's a new place,
New doctor, yeah.
like if it's a place that I've never been to before, I know what the stigma of a sickle cell patient is. I know what the stigma of a black man is. So a black man with sickle cell walking in the door, they automatically sizing you up. Like I had, I got in a car accident once, and they sent me to a pain clinic. And when I went to the pain clinic, like they got people in there talking about they back hurt. This man handing out all kinds of prescriptions. He got to me and was like, "Oh, you have sickle cell. I can't help you with that kind of pain." I was like, "This cat over here just said he fell off a ladder. You talking about you can help him? I have an actual disease and I'm hurt, and you saying you can't help me because I have sickle cell? Like, bro, that don't even make sense to me. The logic isn't there. Like, these cats are obviously drug addicts. You can look at them. You know, you know they're on drugs, but you giving them prescriptions. But because I have sickle cell, you can't help me. Like that's that. It's definitely some sizing up going on.
Yeah, for sure. So I haven't experienced a lot of like racial stuff though until recently. Man, recently I ain't gonna lie, I've been getting it. I recently was just when I was in the hospital in the beginning of the end of July. Uh, then I went back beginning of August. But I had a situation, man, where the social worker come in, and I'm already upset because I just caught the dude that was supposedly my doctor. He was just the doctor on the floor. I just had caught him in a lie, trying to tell me that he been working with my medical team, and he ended up saying, yeah, because I talked to Dr. Chapman, he this and he that, and I'm like, man, my nurse practitioner is a woman. You know, I caught him in a lie, so I'm like, get out of my room, get out, just get out. And I think they don't understand that the pain eventually turns into aggression when you've been in it for so long. Mm-hmm. And so I'm telling them, just get out because this is what's best for right now. Just get out, like for real. Just get out and let me just chill. Like, and what happened is that a social worker came in, and it was a lady, and I was on the phone with my friend Sherelle Johnson. She got sickle cell too, and man, while I'm on the phone with her, I'm telling this lady, could you just get out the room, please? Now, man, you're walking around with the IV pole, just walking around the room because I don't want to take that heparin shot. Because I'm not taking nothing extra. I don't put nothing extra in me and I've already done refused the medication because I'm telling them that it's not working. So I'm not going to keep putting that in my body either because it ain't working. So, man, the lady ended up saying, do you need any rehabilitation when you go home? I'm like, no, ma'am, I don't need anything. Could you please just get out the room? Could you please just go, like, and just let me, you can come back later. I'll answer all of the questions you want me to answer. I just caught this dude in the lie and I'm upset about it, basically. And the lady ended up, she asked me, did I need anything else, like food type stuff? I'm like, ma'am, could you please just leave? Like, lady ended up saying, well, do you need a she said, well, what about a drug treatment? I went in on her, bro. I went clean in on her, bro. Like I done had that happen, bro. I done had a mug, man. While I'm in the emergency room for the first time in years, I'm in the emergency room, and the lady tell me, she say, oh, I gotta teach the students, about basically. She said I gotta teach the students that there are some good sicklers in the world. And I spazzed, bro. I went off after that because why haven't you already taught them that if that's the case? That should have been something that you know what I'm saying? That means you've been okay with what they've been doing to me for the past 2-3 hours. You've been okay with that. They treated me for every single thing, bro. They said I was sepsis. So they treat me for all of these. They done gave me all of these IV antibiotics. They done brought all types of panels of antibiotics. But I was there for hours, bro, before they gave me any type of pain medication. They never treated me. I've been there for hours. They ain't treat my pain. But then when they finally come and treat the pain, then that's when they say, oh, well, I have to treat them that not all, like that there are some good sicklers and not all sicklers are bad. And I'm like, so you telling me, you just told me basically that they thought I was a certain way, and this is why they've been having me in pain for this long. Mind you, if you look at my chart, you will see that I ain't been here since 2018. See what I'm saying? So yeah, bro,
They,
you definitely getting sized up as soon as you
when
say
I
you got sickle cell.
I was in when I first moved out here where I live at now, like I live in Slidell, which is outside of New Orleans. When I first moved here, I used to go to this hospital up here, an emergency room doctor, right? Every time I would go in there, would harass me. Like, the woman used to look at my arms, be like, "Oh, you got track marks. Do you do IV drugs?" This was before I had my port. And I'm like, "No, ma'am, I have sickle cell. I get stuck a lot. I don't have good veins." And like, she would just always find ways to mess with me. And then she wound up telling me that she can't treat sickle cell. I need to start going to Tulane again, which is the hospital in New Orleans. And I'm like, "Ma'am, that's a 30-minute ride. If I get sick and I have to drive 30 minutes just to get to the hospital, I might not make it."
Right.
Like, you right here, you know what sickle cell is, you know how to treat sickle cell, but you don't want to treat sickle cell because you want to assume that I'm a drug addict. Because I don't come in here, because she was like, if you're in so much pain, why are you reading the book? Because I read books when I go to the hospital. I'm like, because that takes my mind off the pain, woman. Like, it's a distraction. And she was like, well, people that's really in pain would be in here screaming and crying. Like, ma'am, at the time I was in my early 20s. Like, I've had sickle cell my whole life. I don't roll on the floor screaming anymore unless it's the worst pain I ever felt. Like, you learn how to handle something that you've been dealing with your whole life. Like, if you have migraines your whole life, you're not gonna fall down and scream every time you have a migraine when you're in your 20s. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why sickle cell doesn't get the same grace that cancer patients get or any other patients, because they don't get treated that way, and that's something you catch. You're born with sickle cell. So the way that we handle things will be different than somebody that just caught something 2 weeks ago. It's not the same thing.
Right. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. Just to speak on the sizing up, man. Like several incidents where I'm gonna speak on a few. Just the first one I went into an emergency room with couldn't breathe, struggling to breathe, and the fact I was eating a sandwich, they was ready to kick me out. I ain't going with him. He eating. That's what they tell me. That's what they tell me. So the lady who know me and know that I don't come in there like that, I'm not a good flyer. She was like, "Well, no, D'Angelo don't come in unless something really going on." Once they did the X-ray, they found out that I had pneumonia in both my lungs. Right.
Dang.
This was and this was a young doctor, and at the time I was a little more rowdier. And I had a few of my peoples with me. And I kind of told my cousin, man, like, hit that month. You know what I mean? And thank God he didn't, because I really been in the out, but they would have kicked me out eventually. But I'd have been kicked out of emergency rooms. I'd have been told to go to a Pacific hospital. I'd have been told police didn't walk me out. I'd have had nurses squeeze my arm, trying to inflict pain, not realizing that she was really massaging me. And it felt good. But I'd have had I had several situations, but I say that to say this, just on educational purposes. When we go into these establishments, we gotta understand that we are being sized up, and we gotta learn how to articulate ourselves in a certain language that we gotta use so we can get decent treatment. You know what I mean? Right. Sometimes, I don't know how it is in other places, but here in Cincinnati, they have a number scale of where they will mark you. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say you either a 1 or a 4. If you're a 4, you're gonna be sitting for 8 hours in the ER lobby. So it's certain things I have learned to say to get me where I need to be. Right. So even when it comes to having new doctors, you are being sized up. You black, and you're dealing with sickle cell, and they can't see sickle cell, and you deal with narcotics. Sickle cell is a narcotic field because what other way we know to treat pain? You know, we was never introduced to an alternative way to treating pain. You know what I mean? Since a child, there's kids in children's hospital right now taking fentanyl up the nose at the age of 7. You see what I'm saying? So our whole life we've been getting prepped on this narcotic regimen. But now then we become an adult. Now you want to call us dope fiends and treat us like we dope fiends, but y'all been prepping us for years. Right? Y'all never introduced no other alternative. If there's another alternative, please let me know. You should have let us know when we was kids. You see what I'm saying? But even when you step into the pharmacy, if you walk into a CVS, a Walgreens, or Kroger's, you are being sized up when you go in there, right? I done had a pharmacist text. Well, sir, you should have one more pill left. It says X, Y, and Z, right? Now they trying to tell me what I should have left. Now I could go off, I can spaz out, but all they're gonna do is blackball you. They're gonna put you in that little book, and guess what? Won't no pharmacy deal with you. Same with these doctors. This is why I asked earlier. You get doctors who would change your meds at the side of your bed. You in excruciating pain. They would take you from a 1 point something a PC pump drip, and they would knock you down to something that don't even make sense. But guess what? You have to do it. Sad to say, you have to do it. You know what I mean? Because that's their decision. And guess what? You really don't have no say so, right? Which is sad to say. So they really sad when you always being sized up when you're sitting in front of these folks. You know what I mean? They already sad. So you got to learn how to articulate yourself. You got to learn what to do. And guess what? Even if you try it, at least try whatever they saying, because really you ain't got no foot to stand on. You're gonna try it regardless. You know what I mean?
I can't do that part, bro.
No. I'm gonna certain things. Like, you know what I mean? If I was in the hospital, if like, you know what I mean? Because I done had situations where they gave me less medication that I take at home, which don't even make sense. Right? They give me on the PC pump the lot. So they would say, well, D'Angelo, we need to take you down to 1 milligram. Now I can kick it fuss and scream, but guess what? They're gonna take it down regardless. Now what they would do, so what I would do is, okay, take it down. I tried. And guess what? 2 hours later, I'm pushing that button. It ain't working. I need to go back up.
That's what I do.
But now when it comes to this narcotic game, when they write these scripts, I don't play that game because they will try to put you on anything and everything. Well, did you try this? Well, this not in your regimen that insurance won't pay. It's a drug out there now called Xtamza, supposed to be equivalent to an Oxycontin 20, right? So like I tell them, quit changing my medicine. If it works for me, let me stay there. I don't like taking new medication. I refuse to take medication because every medication has a side effect. If I've been on the oxycodone for 20-some years, leave me alone. You see what I'm saying? But one thing I learned about sickle cell and really just the health field, period, the insurance company run the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These doctors really, they could put in what's the thing I can't even think of the little letter they assign.
Company and pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, that's who run the show, right? So I done had doctors try to take a script from me and make me take something else. And I tell them, no, I can't. Or I take it, but I won't take it. Just keep it a buck. I take it home. That's as far as it's going to go. I take it to the jar and put it in there. And 2 weeks later, it made my stomach hurt, made my head hurt, put me back on what I belong. See, what it is, the point I'm making is it's a conversation. It's a wordplay that we got to learn as patients to how to articulate ourselves without getting aggressive. Because the first time we get aggressive, you going in that book. And guess what? You be riding around your city and state trying to find a doctor or a pharmacist that will put up with you.
That's what I used to. My wife used to ask me, like, why I never get mad and flip out on these people. I'm like, because I could articulate myself better, and I could explain sickle cell better than they could deny sickle cell. So I could out-talk them, and no matter how bad it gets, eventually it's gonna get to where it needs to be. No matter who I gotta call, whether I gotta call my doctor, I gotta call the head of the hospital. I'll get to the people I need to get to,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not about to sit here and argue with these people because then I'm the angry black man.
That part.
And once you become the angry black man, no matter if you right or wrong, you wrong.
You
Off
know,
top.
that last situation when that lady asked me about being a drug, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all brothers, man. I ain't flipped, but I just checked her, Hey, look, you look like a drug head before I do. Because she did. And that's what I told her. You look like a thing that I used to know back in the day. Uh that's if you say something stupid to me, you're going to get a stupid answer. Period. If you say anything foolish to me, I'm going to. I don't have to yell. Now I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to yell. I don't have to get all aggressive. Um, One thing about my sister, she told me always, it's an intelligent way to check people. You know what I mean? And I figured out that my mouth is deadly, deadly, deadly weapon. My brain is deadly. So it's like I could say some things, in a particular way, and I know I can. But with that situation that I had, the reason why I said I can't just take like I can't like just take what they offer because of the guy, he what you said, they moved me down. I was down to like point 0.2. They was just giving me 2 milligrams in the ER. I get up here, they drop it down to point 0.2. So I'm like, what make y'all think 90% less was gonna help? So
Disrespectful. Disrespectful.
then they say, okay, well, we're gonna go up to point 4, but you can hit the thing every 15 minutes. All right, I'll try it, right? But then when I'm telling him it didn't work, the man come and say, well, look, we can try to give you some ketamine. And I'm like, wait a minute, bro. That's a horse tranquilizer, bro. Like,
Yep.
that's a hallucinogen. I said, y'all use that to see, he didn't think I knew. And so for your son, brother, tell him to study everything. Study
Yeah.
everything. Don't take nothing without studying it, man. And even if you got to be maybe in pain for another 10 minutes before I read about it to see what it is, I can deal with that 10-minute pain, you know what I'm saying, to be able to get some more knowledge about what you're trying to give me. Because I'm not just gonna take any old thing. So when he offered me this stuff, luckily, I had already heard about it from one of my buddies from New Orleans who said that he took it and he didn't know. He said he was going crazy. He talking about he was seeing all types of stuff. And so I'm like, all
I
right.
sure
So
was.
they give you this. Also, it's a sedation medicine. So you give this to people before surgery. So what are you trying to do to me, brother? That was my question to him. Why would you give me, so you won't move me up from point 4 to point 0.5 or 6 or nothing, or 1 milligram, but you would give me something that sedate people? That's crazy to me. So my next words was, all right, just send me home, bro. I'm gonna just walk out. Cause at this point, I'm kind of nervous about you now.
Mm-hmm.
I just caught you in the lie yesterday telling me that you talked to my doctor and you said it was a him and it's really a she. Now you're offering me something that I know is a drug, is a horse tranquilizer and a hallucinogen, and that y'all use this to sedate people. And then when I said what I said, which was, don't that ain't that a horse tranquilizer? The way they looked at me was like I wasn't supposed to know that. And so in my head, I was thinking, man, what if I was only 19 and I didn't know that? Well, I'll be up in here, you know what I'm saying? I'll be up in here all messed up because it's just me. It's just me. And 9 times out of 10, I'm in the hospital by myself. So nah, man. Even when I've heard tell of people say uh that they won't, doctors have taken their pain medications away because they won't take hydroxyurea. I refuse to take hydroxyurea because I understand that it's a cancer medicine. I understand that it's for cancer, and when you understand that and you can call the pharmacy to check this. When people start taking cancerous medicines, they normally end up with another form of cancer somewhere.
Yep.
So
Lose your
why would I take this? You know, they don't even tell. Just think about the medication. They tell you in the side effects. They tell you not to touch it without a glove on your hand. This is hydroxyurea, but you want me to put it in my body. Don't
right.
touch it without a glove, but you want me to put it in my body. They
Right.
also tell you when you first start taking that it's going to reduce your immune system. So you want to reduce my immune system worse than it already is. That's crazy to me. They also say do not have sex unprotected when you're on this medication. They don't even give you that about the drugs.
It's a chemo drug.
That don't make sense, right? It's a chemo drug, but they don't. So you mean to tell me I can do it all day long on the Dilaudid raw, but I can't do it with this raw? What's in this that makes it so worse than the drugs? You know what I'm saying? So nah, man, it just didn't add up to me. Even when I was 19 years old, it didn't add up to me. And I've never taken one of those pills ever a day in my life. And my daughter has sickle cell too. My daughter has sickle
This
cell
y'all?
too, and she's never taken one
Ma'am?
of those pills ever in her life, and I won't allow it from her for her either. You know, so I just can't take what they just, I understand that they got the power. I do. But I got the power to say yes or no to what me
Yep.
or my daughter is open to taking.
You're
And
100%. You're
you
100%.
have to study that stuff, man.
Yeah.
You're
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Now I was just
Y'all ever been to a meeting for bone marrow transplant?
uh I used to
I have.
do blood, I coordinate blood drives, and it's a company here called Be the Match. I don't know if anybody heard of Be the Match, and that's what it is. They find matches for bone marrow transplants, right? And bone marrow transplant, they got to almost kill you off.
Yes,
Uh,
and it starts with hydroxyurea.
yeah,
It starts
you
with
know,
hydroxyurea, and
they
then
give
it
you
goes from
chemotherapy.
hydroxyurea to actual chemo. They actually
Yeah,
give you a chemotherapy.
yeah.
So why would I take? I don't understand. Why would you give me this medicine that's already making my immune system low when it's already low? I just
Guinea,
it
brother.
never sat right with me.
It's guinea pig. Guinea. They treat sickle
I
cell
would.
patients. I'll tell you something, man. The reason sickle cell patients is so easily to be blackballed, mistreated, and dogged out because sickle cell only affects a population. Everybody
Yeah,
can get sick. Everybody can get cancer, diabetes, etc. Right? Sickle cell affects only a certain population, and that population got some melanin in their body, right? So it's easy to experiment. It's easy to
yeah, fact.
mistreat. It's easy to do all these things because it don't affect the masses. That's why there's no money in sickle cell. You
Yep.
see what I'm saying?
I,
So
Mhm.
I took hydroxyurea, and
yeah,
bruh, it was so bad. Like it destroyed almost all my white blood cells. They thought I had leukemia. That's how low my T count was. They thought that I had leukemia, and it was from taking that damn medicine. And I never take that medicine again.
they don't
Like,
educate,
Every
man.
and then
They
they
don't.
gonna try. They try to give it back to me. Like after they got my levels back up there. Like, so you want to start your like? Hell no, I don't want to start taking that again. What is wrong with y'all?
everybody I know that came off of that medicine told me that they had the worst crisis they ever had when they stopped taking it.
Yeah,
I,
it's
I
true. That happened to me. I
have,
did take it as well, and I continued to get a cold over and over and over again. And when I told my doctor, because it wasn't helping me, and I told my doctor flat out, I said I'm not doing it. And when I completely shut it down, man, please, I think I was in the hospital for about a month. It was pretty bad. So what you saying is 100% true, at least from my experience.
but now I agree, man. But to move right along, man. I know we've been on here for a little over an hour, man. Uh,
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap it up, man. But before we wrap it up, man, we're just gonna go around again, man. Everybody want to get put something in the air before we leave, and we're gonna shut the conversation down. So anybody want to put something in the air, some last remarks, man? We go ahead.
All right, I'll go first. Because I take care of my mother too. My mother 90 years old. She'll be 91 September 22nd. You know, and thank God she's still here.
Mm.
And um, I would say this, that you know, the way the brothers, I see y'all brothers. This is my first time ever meeting y'all, but I have seen y'all on some of the lives because I'll be watching when Shambrea send me a requested watch, and I watch, and I see how y'all brothers are growing, how y'all brothers are communing together to even a platform just to come here to talk and talk about sickle cell and stuff like that, you know. And I got some of my friends they watching right now to educate themselves. And but what I like to say is that, you know, to put a little part in what who was that super soldier at the bottom.
Nathaniel, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I had this conversation with a white guy about he had cancer, and we was talking about why sickle cell patients get treated different than cancer patients. I said, because look at my skin and look at your skin.
Thanks.
I said, I'm just being straight up honest with you. I said, they treat y'all that way because y'all don't have sickle cell like we may have it, and other races like Indian people because of the melanin in our skin, like D'Angelo was talking about. I said, but I said, I may not be here to see it in a lifetime. I said, but the way this interracial dating and marriage and all this stuff, I said, give it time. I said, then they're gonna want to start pouring money into it because now white people are starting to have it too because of the dating and the mixing of the black and white or whatever. But you know, brothers, man, hey, I'm praying for you all. I was just talking to my son a while ago because he's doing something else. He's doing so much other stuff, man, with the sickle cell. He's speaking. He's a motivational speaker too. But one thing I always say to him is that you have to take control of you, not the doctors, not nobody else. I said you. I don't care who you dating. You got to take care of yourself. Yes, you are different in other ways, but you are important first. I know you want to care about this woman or whatever. I said, but your life is in your hand, not hers. So, fellas, man, I appreciate y'all. I got so much. That's why I was just sitting back, just listening, because I learned so much just by listening to you all. And I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest one in here. I'm 55, so I know y'all brothers are younger than me. So you know, like they say, you
Barely.
can teach an old dogs new tricks because I can learn from each and every one of you all, man. And I appreciate all of y'all.
And what you're doing
So,
right now is the best thing you can do for your son.
Yeah, man.
And
I
so
appreciate.
they got these
You.
women groups. They got these women groups, you know, that, and I'm not knocking them, by the way, because uh, I think at some point in life, this life is soon, that we need to get with, you know, these women groups, because you know you can't go in there and ask um them women. It's all women, and they asking questions in there. I know they are, because I've seen some of the stuff come to me. You can't go in there and ask them questions about what your son should do. As a, like, if the mother normally had a kid and they go up in there and they say, "Oh, my son got sickle cell. What do you do about this?" But you can't ask them that. You need to come to men about young men. You know what I mean? And once those women over there get to understand that, see, I understand. I have a daughter with sickle cell. My daughter will have a cycle eventually, and her cycle will trigger sickle cell, I'm sure, because I've talked to other women with sickle cell, right? I have to get that information from women. I can't get that information from this panel right here. You know what I mean? And people have to be real enough about themselves. Like you saying, you real enough with yourself to say, I just got the trait, so I need to talk to guys with it so I can better understand you, son. But a lot of people don't want to say I'm less than.
Yeah. And I got to, you know, my son have a podcast, man, he do on Sunday. And We got to get y'all on, man, so we can just come on and just talk, man. Just like here on the stream, you and stuff. We have to set up just like that too. So I can introduce you all to some of my era that's older than you all, and that's older than me. But they have kids that have sickle cell too, and so we try to talk to everybody, man. And I'd like to get y'all guys to come on with us, man.
I come on, bro. Like I said, I know it from a patient perspective and the father perspective.
Yeah.
I don't have no problem with long as it's for the community, man. I don't have no problem with doing nothing. That's for anybody on here.
Yep.
Yeah. So the invitation is open, man. Shay Brown got all my information, man. She can hook you up. You know, I'm Carl McCall on Facebook. You can send me a message, man. I'm open anytime. Now depending on what time you hit me up. Now if late at night, I gotta get up at 5:30 in the morning. You get that answer in the morning when I get up. But man, I appreciate y'all, man. I'm gonna go ahead and see what my mama need and everything. But man,
Something you need to know before you go. See, I wanted to say this before you got off. Is that sleeping pills? I used to take sleeping pills. A lot of people deal with sleeping issues with sickle cell. I used to take sleeping pills, and my doctor took me off of them because that played a part in pride prison as well. That was causing the pride prison as well. So she took me off of them. Then I just seen maybe about 3 days ago a guy with sickle cell YBT Prophet. He just was talking about melatonin.
Melatonin, yeah.
And that now the ones I was taking was called like trazodone or something. It was something like that. It was trazodone something. It was a red sleeping pill that they had me taking at one point. And so I don't know if those have the same things in them, but he was just talking about how melatonin promotes pride prison as well. And so I know he is a person who do his homework, so you could take it to the bank if he said it.
Hey, real quick for
I
everybody,
appreciate that, man.
for everybody leave, man. Before we wrap up, man. Once again, man, I go by. My name is D'Angelo. I go by Mr. Checky Temp on Instagram. I also have a nonprofit, 365 Never End Fight. We on YouTube as well. All I say is, man, for people who watch it, man, just learn how to advocate for yourself. Don't be afraid to educate people that's close to you with sickle cell. Don't be afraid to educate your family, because it starts with us. It's the reason why we don't get to support within our own family, because, one thing about sickle cell, we can be kind of embarrassed, and it could be looked at as a weakness. So we protect that side about us.
Yeah.
But just learn how, man. Just know when you walk into these doctors and these pharmacists, you are being sized up. And you do need a support system, because God forbid if you ever go to a hospital and you get to a stage where you are sick and you can't articulate yourself, you need somebody who can speak for yourself, man. Like you, man, for your son, the way you play a part for your son, brother. I mean, I take my head off to that, because I know it's a lot of days I'm in the hospital by myself, and that's but me, besides my sister and my mother, and they can't always be there for me like that. But it's a beautiful thing, man. But I just want to put that in the air for everybody, man.
And before we go, once again, my name is Nathaniel Seabury. I just want to say a couple quick pointers. If you in a relationship and the person you with doesn't understand what you are going through, that person is not for you. You shouldn't have to fight to make somebody understand that you are fighting a life-threatening disease. Stress causes crisis. So you shouldn't be stressing yourself out trying to find love. Life is stressful enough. Secondly, if you research everything. Learn your disease better than the doctors know your disease.
Right.
That way no one can ever talk to you like you have no clue what you're talking about. Keep yourself informed on yourself. And when I say yourself, understand what you go through, because just because you have sickle cell doesn't mean it's the same as my sickle cell. Understand who you are and what you go through as a person, and and keep that in mind whenever you're dealing with hostile doctors or nurses or anything like that. Thirdly, don't be embarrassed as a man that everything doesn't work out as a man. You know, being a man is a million different things, and all of them are wonderful. Do what you can do to be a man. You don't have to break your back and try to kill yourself when you know you can't. Trying to be a man. And last but not least, love yourself. Sickle cell causes depression, and it's really bad. And it could get to the point where you end up popping pills or trying to kill yourself or doing all this other kind of stuff because you depressed about something that you can't control. Love yourself, man. You're worth it. You're worth it.
Indeed.
Man, I just want to say really fast. First of all, I want to apologize to the fellas. My computer died. I was handling a church business. So I literally ran home and put it on the charger. That's not something I normally do. But my parents was keeping me updated on everything you said. I heard about the Golden Girls and you, D'Angelo, crying about the Golden Girls, seeing the Golden Girls and everything. They keep me up to date. But I do want to leave everybody with say, as you said, love yourself and just know, me being a pastor, I can't leave this without saying, always try to keep prayer in your life. If you don't do nothing, this is a disease that is hard enough. We all go through some things, but have a support system to know that whether it's God or somebody else that you are an overcomer and that you can make it through the day-to-day life and trials of what we go through with sickle cell. It's not easy, but we are overcomers and we can make it. So continue to strive on, continue to press on, and do what's best for you and what's best for your family.
Indeed, brother. We're gonna do this again, man. We're gonna do this again. It's beautiful, man. It's important more than anything. It's important for us. This is therapy. If we don't know that, this is a form of therapy right here. These are thoughts that we
Man,
can share, and we can share with people who understand. And when nobody put out the little violin, and like, "Whoa, it's me," But we can relate, and that's the main thing, man. Find somebody that can relate to your experience, and then we gotta do it again, man. Sooner than later. Gotta
yes,
say that.
sir.
Yeah.
Gotta say that. But I'm about to go cook, brother. I'm about to go get on this
All
grill.
right, brothers.
Hungry, my stomach growling.
Same here.
Y'all have a
Yeah,
good one, man.
y'all
Y'all have
be
a
easy.
good
Right.
one.
Man.
It was nice
Pleasure.
I'll
talking
take
to
care.
you.
It's
And
a
once
pleasure.
again, man, you're a great father. Thank you.
Hey, appreciate that, man.
Indeed,
Appreciate that.
brother. Indeed. There she go. You popped on the thing.
I'm here, y'all.
Uh, give me
Thank
a
y'all
call.
again.
Give me a call, Shay. I'm about to get off this thing right here.
All right,
All right,
no
y'all be
problem.
easy.
All right.
Yeah, yup.
Okay. All right, everybody. You have a lovely night. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining. I want to thank my lovely guests, hosts. I didn't have to do anything today, which was amazing. So I thank y'all so much. I just want to leave y'all with my positive words of wisdom before I go, which is start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. Until next time, folks, peace.